The giant space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. Inside its crystal halls, the most powerful beings in the galaxy gathered for an emergency meeting. The Galactic Council had ruled 47 star systems for 300 years. No species had ever dared to challenge them. Until now. Vexithari clicked his sharp claws on the metal table. As the council speaker, he had seen many rebellious species. They all ended the same way, in complete surrender or total destruction. But the humans were different. They simply said no to everything. These Earth creatures refuse our trade deals, Vexithari hissed through his insect-like mouth. They reject our technology. They will not follow our laws. What kind of species acts this way? War Chief Gormantis slammed his massive fist on the table. His red skin glowed brighter when he was angry. Stupid species. We offer them peace and progress. They spit in our faces. Let me crush their little blue planet. Sylventra, the silver-skinned mediator, raised her elegant hand. Perhaps we should try once more. Send better negotiators. Offer them more benefits. No. Vexithari's voice echoed in the chamber. We have tried everything. We sent our best diplomats. We offered them medicine that could cure all diseases. We showed them star maps to 1,000 worlds. We promised them seats in the council. They rejected it all. On Earth, millions of miles away, Admiral Kim Tae-ho stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes, but his voice was strong when he spoke to his crew. The aliens want an answer today, he said. They think we will bow down like all the others. Captain Choi Minna looked up from her console. She was young but brave. Sir, their fleet is massive. Over 500 ships. Our entire defense force is only 50 ships. Kim Tae-ho smiled. Numbers do not win wars, Captain. Spirit does. In another part of the ship, Park Sora finished packing her bags. She had been Earth's ambassador to the aliens for 2 years. It was the worst job in the galaxy. The aliens treated humans like children. They spoke slowly, as if humans were too stupid to understand normal speech. You are leaving? Asked Lee Junki as he entered her room. He was the head of human intelligence, a quiet man who knew many secrets. The government called me back, Sora said sadly. The talks have failed. The aliens will not treat us as equals. They want us to be their pets, Junki nodded. I know. I have been watching their private meetings. They plan to use force if we do not surrender. Can we fight them? We must. Freedom is not negotiable. Back on Nexus Prime, the council was losing patience. Gormantis stood up, his 7-foot frame casting a shadow over the table. I vote for immediate military action. Send the pacification fleet to Earth. Destroy their military. Capture their leaders. Make them an example to other species. I agree, said Vexithari. But first we give them one final chance. Send them our ultimatum. The message traveled across space at faster than light speed. It reached Earth in minutes. Kim Tae-ho read it aloud to his senior officers. People of Earth, the Galactic Council has shown great patience with your species. We have offered you membership in our civilized community. We have offered you technology, medicine, and protection. You have rejected our generosity. This is your final opportunity. Submit to Council authority within 24 hours or face the consequences. You cannot win against the combined might of 47 worlds. Choose wisely. The bridge was silent for a long moment. Then Captain Oh Seung-won, commander of Earth's newest stealth ship, spoke up. Sir, what are your orders? Kim Tae-ho looked at the faces around him. These men and women had volunteered to defend Earth knowing they might die. They could have accepted the alien offer and lived comfortable lives as servants. Instead, they chose to fight. Prepare my response, he said. The message Kim Tae-ho sent back was broadcast to every alien ship and station in the galaxy. His face appeared on screens from the outer rim to the galactic core. When he spoke, his words were simple but powerful. To the Galactic Council and all who serve them, you offer us slavery disguised as citizenship. You demand we surrender our freedom for your protection. You threaten us because we refuse to kneel. Here is humanity's answer. We will never surrender. We will never bow. We will never accept your rule. We are free beings and we will remain free. If you want to take our freedom, come and try. We will be waiting. On Nexus Prime, the council chamber erupted in anger and disbelief. Never in 3 centuries had anyone spoken to them this way. Species begged for council membership. They fought wars to gain council favor. They offered tribute and gifts just to get council attention. Impossible, Vexithari screeched. They are a young species. They barely have 50 ships. How dare they threaten us? Gormantis was already activating his war communicators. I call the full pacification fleet to immediate action. 1,000 ships, 10 million soldiers. We will turn their planet to ash. But Sylventra looked worried. In her long life, she had learned that desperate creatures were dangerous creatures. Something is wrong here, she whispered. No species acts this way unless they have a secret weapon. What weapon could they have? Gormantis laughed. We have planet killers. We have reality bombs. We have shields that can stop stars. These humans have metal ships and chemical rockets. The vote was unanimous. The Galactic Council declared war on humanity. But Li Junqi was smiling as he watched the alien broadcast from his hidden base. Every word they spoke was being recorded. Every plan they made was being intercepted. The aliens thought they were having secret meetings, but human technology had been listening to everything for months. They think we are primitive, he said to his team. They think we are weak. They are about to learn the most important rule about humanity. We are at our most dangerous when we have nothing left to lose. As the first alien warships began moving toward Earth, Kim Tae-ho stood looking at the stars. His daughter lived on one of the colony worlds. His grandchildren went to school every day without fear. Soon the aliens would come to destroy all of that, but they would not succeed, not while humans still drew breath. Let them come, he whispered to the night. They want to see what humanity is really capable of. We will show them. The pacification fleet was the pride of the Galactic Council. 1,000 ships spread across space like a metal storm. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a moon. The fleet commander, Admiral Zeftok, had conquered 12 species in his long career. He expected the humans to surrender when they saw his fleet. Captain Oh Seung-wan watched the alien ships through his stealth corvette's sensors. His ship, Shadow of Earth, was invisible to alien technology. The humans had learned to hide by studying how Earth's animals survived against bigger predators. Sir, they are not using any advanced scanning patterns, reported his sensor officer Yu Hee-jin. She was a brilliant engineer who had turned human creativity into deadly weapons. They expect us to fight like the other species they have conquered. How many ships can you detect? Oh asked. 1,047 ships, all in perfect formation, all following standard battle procedures. Oh smiled. The aliens were too organized, too predictable. They followed the same battle plans that had worked against other species. But humans had studied every alien battle in recorded history. They knew exactly what the aliens would do. Signal the fleet. Oh ordered. Begin Operation Ghost Dance. Across the solar system, 50 human ships began moving. But they did not form battle lines like normal fleets. Instead, they scattered like leaves in the wind. Some hid behind asteroids. Others powered down completely and floated like dead metal. A few brave ships flew directly at the alien fleet, broadcasting surrender messages. Admiral Zeftok was confused. Where are the rest of their ships? Sensors show only 15 vessels approaching us. His tactical officer, a slug-like creature with 4 eyes, checked his readings again. Sir, perhaps they really are surrendering. These ships are broadcasting white flag signals. Impossible. Their leader said they would fight. This must be a trick, but Zeftok could not figure out what kind of trick. The approaching human ships looked harmless. They were tiny compared to alien battleships. Their weapons seemed primitive. Their shields were weak. Let them come closer, he decided. When they are in range, we will destroy them all at once. It will be a lesson to the galaxy. The human ships continued approaching. They looked scared and defeated. Some were even transmitting messages asking for mercy. Zeftok prepared to give the order to fire. That was when the real attack began. Captain Bae Dong-hyun had been waiting inside an asteroid for 3 hours. His marine assault ship was hidden in a hollowed-out space rock, completely invisible to alien sensors. When the alien fleet passed by, he fired his engines and latched onto the hull of an alien cruiser. Prepare for boarding action, he ordered his Marines. These were not normal soldiers. They were specially trained to fight aliens in zero gravity. They carried weapons designed to work in the alien atmosphere. Most importantly, they knew that aliens had never faced human close combat tactics. The aliens were not ready for hand-to-hand fighting. For 300 years, they had fought space battles with lasers and missiles. No species had ever tried to board their ships. Their security forces were trained to control their own people, not fight enemy soldiers. Bae's Marines cut through the alien hull like it was paper. They poured into the ship, moving fast and striking hard. The aliens had superior technology, but the humans had superior training and determination. Engineering secured, reported one Marine. Bridge taken, called another. Within minutes, Bay's small team had captured an entire alien cruiser. The alien crew surrendered rather than fight the terrifying humans in their own corridors. The same scene was happening across the alien fleet. Human boarding teams struck 12 ships at once. While the aliens were focused on the surrendering ships in front of them, human commandos took control of their vessels from within. But the real surprise was yet to come. Communication officer Kang Yunji had been studying alien languages for years. She could speak 7 different alien dialects. More importantly, she could fake alien voices perfectly. All alien ships, this is Admiral Zeftok, she broadcast, using the alien commander's own voice. Human boarding parties are attacking the fleet. All ships break formation and engage random targets immediately. The alien ships, trained to follow orders without question, immediately began shooting at each other. In the confusion, they could not tell which ships were still under alien control and which had been captured by humans. Captain Oh Seung-wan watched the chaos with satisfaction. The mighty alien fleet was destroying itself. Now we show them what human ships can really do. The Shadow of Earth dropped its stealth field and fired. But instead of normal weapons, it launched something the aliens had never seen before. Smart missiles that could think for themselves. Each missile studied its target and adapted its attack pattern in real time. The alien point defense systems, designed to stop predictable projectiles, could not handle weapons that changed tactics every second. The missiles slipped through their defenses like water through a net. Other human ships appeared from nowhere, firing and disappearing before the aliens could respond. They used hit-and-run tactics, never staying in one place long enough to be targeted. When alien ships chased them, the humans led them into asteroid fields where the bigger alien vessels could not follow. Admiral Zeftok watched his perfect fleet fall apart. This is impossible. How can 50 primitive ships defeat 1,000 advanced vessels? His tactical officer was in panic. Sir, they are not fighting like any species we have encountered. Our battle computers cannot predict their movements. They ignore all standard tactical doctrine, then use the planet killer weapon. And this now. But when Zeftok tried to activate his most powerful weapon, nothing happened. Human hackers had infiltrated his systems hours ago. Every alien computer virus and security system had been turned against them. Sir, called a panicked alien officer, the humans have control of our navigation systems. Our own ships are targeting us. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, half the alien fleet was destroyed or captured. The rest were fleeing as fast as their engines could carry them. Admiral Zeftok was dead, killed when human Marines stormed his flagship. Captain Oh Seung-wan stood on the bridge of the captured alien flagship. Around him, human technicians were studying alien technology. They would learn everything they could, then use it to build better human ships. Send a message to Earth, he ordered. First engagement complete. Enemy fleet destroyed. 0 human casualties. Across the galaxy, alien species watched the battle reports in shocked silence. The mighty pacification fleet had been crushed by a handful of human ships. Species that had served the Council for centuries began to whisper dangerous questions. If the humans could defeat the Council fleet, what did that mean for the galaxy's balance of power? On Nexus Prime, War Chief Gormantis stared at the battle reports with growing rage. How is this possible? We had superior numbers, superior technology, superior firepower. Sylventra looked at the tactical analysis with worried eyes. They did not fight the way we expected. They ignored our rules of warfare. They used tactics we have never seen. Then we will send a bigger fleet, Gormantis declared. 10,000 ships. 100,000. We will crush these humans with pure force. But Vexithari was beginning to understand something terrible. The humans had not just won a battle. They had shown the galaxy that the Galactic Council could be beaten. Send word to all our member worlds, he ordered. Double their tribute payments. Increase security forces, and find out everything we can about human military capabilities. He did not say what he was really thinking. For the first time in 300 years, the Galactic Council was afraid. The humans had started something that could not be stopped. The galaxy would never be the same again. Lee Junki studied the star maps in his secret command center. The aliens thought they were safe in their home systems. They believed humans would wait on Earth for the next attack. They were wrong. Sir, The infiltration teams are in position, reported Captain Han Woo-jin through an encrypted communication channel. He was leading a special forces unit deep in alien territory. We are ready to begin liberation operations. Remember, Junki said carefully, we are not conquerors. We are liberators. Help these species remember what freedom feels like. Han Woo-jin's team had spent months studying the Veltari system. The blue-skinned Veltari people had been peaceful traders before the Council conquered them 50 years ago. Now they worked as slaves in their own factories, building weapons for their alien masters. The human commandos moved through the shadows of Veltar Prime's capital city. Their advanced suits made them nearly invisible. They had learned stealth techniques by studying Earth's best hunters, tigers, sharks, and wolves. Target building located, Han whispered. Council Administrative Center, minimal security. These aliens have never faced a real threat. The Veltari workers in the weapons factory had given up hope long ago. They worked 16 hours a day building laser cannons for the Council fleet. Anyone who complained disappeared forever. Anyone who worked too slowly was executed as an example to others. Then the lights went out. In the darkness, human voices spoke in perfect Veltari language. Citizens of Veltar, this is the Human Liberation Forces. Your chains are broken. Your freedom has returned. Rise up and take back your world. The factory workers looked at each other in amazement. No species had ever challenged Council authority. But somehow these legendary humans had traveled across the galaxy to help them. Han Woo-jin's team moved through the administrative building like ghosts. The Council security forces were trained to watch for Veltari rebels, not human infiltrators. They did not even see the humans until it was too late. Control room secured, reported Sergeant Ko Subin. All surveillance systems are now under our control. Communication center taken, added Corporal Song Jae-hyuk. Broadcasting liberation message to the entire planet. But the most important target was the data center. Han Woo-jin personally led the assault on this heavily guarded facility. Inside were records of every crime the Council had committed against the Veltari people. Evidence of mass executions, proof of slave labor, documentation of stolen resources. Upload everything to the Galactic Communication Network, Han ordered. Let every species in the galaxy see what the Council really does to its members. On Earth, cyber warfare expert Lim Yeon-soo was fighting a different kind of battle. She was not using guns or explosives. Her weapons were computer codes and electronic viruses. She was turning the Council's own technology against them. Their security systems are incredibly advanced, she told her team. But they all follow the same basic programming. They think like machines, not like humans. Yeon-soo had discovered something amazing. The aliens were so logical that they could not imagine illogical attacks. Their computer defenses were perfect against alien hackers who followed predictable patterns. But human creativity broke their systems completely. Initiating Ghost Protocol, she announced. All Council surveillance networks in the Therex system are now under human control. Across the galaxy, alien security officers watched in horror as their own cameras and sensors began showing them things that could not be real. Human ships appeared in impossible locations. Battle reports came from systems where no humans could possibly be. Alarm signals screamed from empty space. The Council's perfect information network became a source of confusion and fear. They could no longer tell what was real and what was human deception. On the mining world of Kethmore, the rock people called Kethians had been enslaved for over a century. They were forced to dig precious metals from their own planet's core. The Council took everything and gave them nothing in return. That changed when human pilot Song Jae-hyuk landed his experimental fighter on their world. The Wraith was unlike any ship the aliens had ever seen. It could fly in atmosphere like a bird and fight in space like a warship. People of Kethmore, he broadcast to every Kethian mining station. Today you stop digging for your oppressors. Today you dig for your freedom. The Kethians had massive strength from generations of mining. When they rose up, their Council overseers had no chance. Within hours, every alien administrator on the planet was either dead or fleeing for their lives. But the real shock came from an unexpected source. Ko Subin was not a soldier. She was a diplomat who specialized in alien psychology. She had spent years learning how different species thought and felt. Now she was using that knowledge to spread revolution. She did not broadcast messages calling for violence. Instead, she told simple stories about human history. She talked about farmers who became soldiers to defend their homes. She described slaves who broke their chains and became free citizens. She explained how ordinary people could do extraordinary things when they fought for what was right. These stories spread like wildfire through alien communication networks. Species that had forgotten the meaning of freedom began to remember. Young aliens who had never known life without the Council began to ask dangerous questions. Why should they serve masters who gave them nothing? Why should they follow laws they never agreed to? Why should they be afraid of beings who claim to protect them? On Nexus Prime, the Council was losing control. Reports came in every hour of new rebellions, new uprisings, and new species declaring independence. The Veltari have expelled all Council representatives, reported one panicked messenger. The Keithian mining worlds have stopped all shipments, said another. 3 star systems have formally withdrawn from the Council, announced a third. Vexithari was furious. How can one primitive species cause so much chaos? We control 47 worlds. We have the largest fleet in the galaxy. We have ruled for 3 centuries. War Chief Gormantis slammed his weapons on the table. This is what happens when we show weakness. We should have destroyed Earth immediately. But Sylventra was reading the intelligence reports with growing fear. Look at these human tactics, she said quietly. They are not trying to conquer us. They are trying to convince our own people to betray us. Impossible. Our member species are loyal. We have protected them from wars and disasters for generations. Protected them, or controlled them? Sylventra asked. When was the last time any species voluntarily joined the Council? When was the last time we asked for their opinion, instead of demanding their obedience? The uncomfortable silence that followed gave her the answer. On Earth, Admiral Kim Tae-ho received a communication from the liberated Veltari system. Their message was simple but powerful. Thank you for reminding us who we used to be. We stand with humanity against tyranny. Similar messages came from the Kethians, from 3 other freed systems, and from dozens of species still under Council control. The galaxy was awakening. Sir, asked Captain Choi Min-ah, what are our orders for the next phase? Kim Tae-ho looked at the star chart showing Council territory. There were billions of intelligent beings out there, living under alien rule. Most of them had never known freedom. Many had forgotten it was possible. We continue the mission, he said. Every species deserves the right to choose their own destiny. We will give them that choice. But he knew the Council would not surrender easily. The real war was just beginning. In the deep space between star systems, Council reinforcements were gathering. Not hundreds of ships this time, but thousands. They were preparing to end the human threat once and for all. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see which would triumph, the Council's overwhelming force or humanity's unbreakable spirit. The Council's final fleet gathered in the darkness between galaxies. 5,000 ships from every member world, planet killers that could burn entire star systems, reality bombs that could tear holes in space itself. War Chief Gormantis had convinced the Council to use weapons banned since the ancient wars. No more games, he declared to his assembled commanders. No more clever human tricks. We destroy their home planet. We kill every human in the galaxy. We make them an example that will last forever. Fleet Admiral Shin Hyun-woo stood in Earth's orbital defense center, watching the approaching alien armada through long-range sensors. He was old now, with white hair and deep lines around his eyes, but his hands were steady as he activated the emergency defense protocols. All civilian ships are to evacuate immediately, he ordered. Send them to the outer colonies. If Earth falls, humanity will survive somewhere else. Captain Park Hae-won, his youngest officer, looked up from her station. Sir, the alien fleet is using planet-killer weapons. Our shields cannot stop them. I know, Captain. But we do not need to stop them forever. We just need to buy time. In the deep laboratories beneath Earth's surface, Dr. Moon So-young worked frantically on humanity's last hope. It was not a weapon in the normal sense. It was something the aliens had never imagined possible. A way to share human thoughts and feelings with every mind in the galaxy. The quantum transmission array is almost ready, she reported to her team. But we need more time to complete the final calibrations. How much time? Asked her assistant. 12 hours. Maybe 18 if we are lucky. Above them, Earth's defense fleet prepared for the impossible. 50 human ships against 5,000 alien vessels. Admiral Shin Hyun-woo knew they could not win, but they could make the aliens pay for every mile of space. All ships, this is Admiral Shin, he broadcast to his fleet. Today we face an enemy that wants to destroy not just our world but our way of life. They cannot understand why we refuse to surrender. They think freedom is just a word. We will show them it is worth dying for. The first alien ships entered the solar system like a plague of metal locusts. They did not even try to negotiate. They simply began firing their planet-killer weapons at Earth. Captain An Tai-jun led the desperate defense from the surface. His soldiers had built massive underground bunkers, but they knew the alien weapons could crack planets in half. Still, they would not abandon their posts. All batteries concentrate fire on the lead alien ships, he ordered. Earth's surface guns were primitive compared to alien technology, but they fired with deadly accuracy. Every shot was aimed by human hands, guided by human eyes, powered by human determination. The alien fleet commander, Admiral Krexthul, watched the pitiful human resistance with satisfaction. Their weapons are like insect stings against our armor. Continue the bombardment. In 1 hour, their planet will be a dead rock. But something was wrong. The human ships were not retreating. They were flying directly at the alien fleet, their weapons blazing. They were not trying to win the battle. They were trying to get as close as possible to the alien ships. "Sir," reported Krexthul's tactical officer, "the human vessels are on collision courses. They appear to be planning suicide attacks. Let them come. Our shields will stop their pathetic ships." That was when Captain Oh Seung-won's ship, the Shadow of Earth, struck the alien flagship. But it was not carrying normal explosives. Instead, it was loaded with a new human invention, nanobots that could eat through alien metal like acid through paper. The alien flagship began dissolving from within. Krexthul watched in horror as his perfect vessel fell apart around him. How is this possible? Our armor is made from the strongest materials in the galaxy. Human ingenuity, Oh Seung-won said calmly as his ship's systems failed around him. We studied your technology. We found its weaknesses. We always find a way. Across the battlefield, other human ships were making similar sacrifices. They could not defeat the alien fleet, but they could damage it. They could slow it down. They could buy precious time for Dr. Moon So-young to complete her work. On the surface of Earth, the cities were burning. The alien bombardment had cracked continents and boiled oceans. But in the deep bunkers, humans continued fighting. They sent messages to the fleeing civilian ships telling them to remember Earth, to remember freedom, to never surrender. Ambassador Park Sora, who had once tried to make peace with the aliens, now led the final evacuation efforts. She helped load the last transport ships with children and elderly civilians. "Why are you staying?" asked a young mother holding her baby. "Someone has to make sure you escape safely," Sora replied. "Take care of that child. Teach them about the world we are fighting to preserve." In the depths of space, Lee Jun-ki coordinated the final human resistance. His intelligence network was sending a simple message to every freed world. Remember us. Continue the fight. Never let them win. The alien fleet was winning, but at a terrible cost. They had lost over 1,000 ships to human suicide attacks. Their remaining vessels were damaged and demoralized. They had expected easy victory, not desperate sacrifice. "Sir," reported an alien communications officer, "we are receiving surrender messages from Earth." Admiral Krexthul smiled with satisfaction. Finally, they accept reality. Prepare to receive their surrender. But when the human transmission came through, it was not a surrender. It was Ambassador Park Sora, broadcasting from the ruins of Earth's capital city. To all beings in the galaxy, human and alien alike, you are watching the destruction of Earth. You are seeing the price we pay for refusing to surrender our freedom. The Council wants you to learn from our destruction. They want you to fear their power. But I have a different message. We would rather die as free beings than live as slaves. We would rather see our world burn than bow to tyrants. This is what makes humans different. This is what makes us dangerous to those who rule through fear. When we die, we will die free, and our example will live forever. The transmission ended as alien bombs destroyed the last human city on Earth. But in the underground laboratory, Dr. Moon So-young made her final preparations. "Quantum transmission array is online," she announced. "Beginning galactic broadcast in 3, 2, 1. Across the galaxy, every intelligent mind suddenly experienced something impossible. They felt human emotions directly. They experienced human memories as if they were their own. They understood for the first time what freedom really meant. An alien soldier on a distant world suddenly remembered the joy of making his own choices. A slave species on a mining planet felt the burning desire to break their chains. Even council officials began to understand the difference between ruling through fear and leading through respect. The psychological impact was devastating. Species that had served the council for centuries suddenly saw their masters as they really were. Not protectors, but oppressors. Not civilizers, but conquerors. On Nexus Prime, Vexithari screamed as human memories flooded his mind. He experienced every moment of human defiance, every sacrifice for freedom, every choice to die rather than surrender. Make it stop, he begged. Make the human thoughts go away. But it was too late. The message was spreading across the galaxy faster than light, carried by quantum entanglement to every corner of space. Every being in the galaxy now understood what humans had died to protect. War Chief Gormantis looked at his hands and saw them covered in the blood of innocence. For the first time in his life, he felt shame. "What have we done?" he whispered. Even as Earth died, humanity had achieved something impossible. They had given the galaxy the greatest gift of all, the knowledge that freedom was worth any sacrifice. The revolution that followed would reshape the stars themselves. The galaxy changed overnight, not through force of arms, but through the power of understanding. Dr. Moon, So Young's final transmission, had done what no weapon could accomplish. It had opened the minds of every intelligent being to the human concept of freedom. On the former slave world of Kethmore, the rock people stood in their ancient council chambers for the first time in a century. They had experienced human memories of democracy, of citizens choosing their own leaders, of governments that served the people instead of ruling them. "We elect Elder Thanemore as our representative," they announced to the galaxy. "We choose our own destiny." Similar declarations came from hundreds of worlds. The Veltari reinstated their old trading councils. The crystal beings of Sylarth reformed their artistic collectives. Species that had forgotten their own names began calling themselves by the titles they had used before council conquest. But the greatest shock came from an unexpected source. On Nexus Prime, War Chief Gormantis stood before the council chambers, but he was no longer the same being. The human memories had shown him every species he had conquered, every world he had burned, every freedom he had destroyed. The weight of his crimes crushed his warrior's pride. "I resign my position," he announced to the stunned council. "I renounce my command. I request permission to dedicate my remaining life to making amends for the suffering I have caused." Vexthari clicked his claws nervously. "You cannot resign. You are bound by council law." "What law?" Gormantis asked quietly. "The law that says might makes right. The law that gives us the right to rule others without their consent. I have felt what our subjects feel. I have experienced their fear, their hopelessness, their burning desire for freedom. How can I continue to deny them what every being deserves?" Across the galaxy, similar scenes were playing out. Council officials and military commanders were laying down their weapons and walking away from their posts. They had tasted freedom through human memories, and they could no longer stomach the taste of tyranny. But not everyone was ready to change. "This is mass hysteria," Vexithari screeched to the few remaining council loyalists. "The humans have infected the galaxy with their insanity." "Order must be restored. How?" asked Sylventra sadly. "Half our fleet has deserted. 3/4 of our member worlds have declared independence. Our own people are refusing to follow orders. The age of the council is over." Captain Jung Hoseok arrived at Nexus Prime in a small diplomatic ship. He was one of the few humans who had survived Earth's destruction, having been on a deep space mission when the planet fell. Now he carried the hopes of his scattered people. The council chambers were nearly empty when he entered. Only a handful of alien officials remained, and they looked at him with a mixture of fear and curiosity. "I come with an offer," Jung Hoseok said simply. "Not as a conqueror, but as a fellow being who wants peace." Vexithari laughed bitterly. "Peace? Your species destroyed our empire. Your mind plague has driven the galaxy into chaos." "We did not destroy your empire," Jung Hoseok replied calmly. "We simply showed your subjects what you really were. The choice to rebel was theirs. The choice to seek freedom was theirs. We only gave them hope that freedom was possible." "And what do you want from us now?" Sylventra asked. "Nothing. We offer you the same thing we offer every species in the galaxy, the right to choose your own path." If you want to maintain your old ways, you are free to do so, but you cannot force others to follow you. It was a revolutionary concept. For 3 centuries, the galaxy had been divided into rulers and subjects, conquerors and conquered. The humans were offering something that had never existed: true equality. Impossible, Vexithari hissed. Some species are naturally superior. Some are meant to rule. Order requires hierarchy. Does it? Jung Hoseok asked. Human history is full of examples where ordinary people accomplished extraordinary things. Where farmers became soldiers. Where slaves became leaders. Where the oppressed became liberators. We have learned that every being has value, regardless of their species or their past. Captain Kim Ye-jin was commanding the first integrated crew in galactic history. Her ship, the New Dawn, carried humans, Veltari, Kethians, and even some former council species working together as equals. It was a living example of what the galaxy could become. Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the Outer Rim territories, reported her communications officer. A young Veltari named Shentar. Put it through. The message came from a small mining colony that had been ignored by the council for decades. This is Colonial Administrator Yoon Min-seok. We formally request membership in the new Galactic Assembly. We pledge to uphold the principles of freedom, equality, and mutual respect. It was one of thousands of similar requests flooding in from across the galaxy. Species that had been oppressed, ignored, or forgotten were asking to join something unprecedented, a government based on consent rather than force. On the rebuilt world of New Earth, the human survivors worked alongside refugees from a dozen different species. Engineer Ryu Min-seok was helping design cities that could accommodate beings with wildly different environmental needs. The Crystal people need high-frequency light for their meditation chambers, he explained to his mixed team of architects. The Kethians require underground workshops for their metalworking. The Veltari want open spaces for their trading posts. We can build a city that serves everyone. It was not easy. Different species had different needs, different customs, different ways of thinking. But they were learning to cooperate, to compromise, to find solutions that worked for everyone. Teacher Seo Hyerin was establishing the first integrated school systems. Human children learned alongside young aliens, discovering that beings who looked different could think in remarkably similar ways. Miss Seo asked a young Kithian student, why did the council think they were better than everyone else? Because they forgot something important, she replied. They forgot that being different does not mean being inferior. They forgot that diversity makes us stronger, not weaker. The first session of the new Galactic Assembly was held in a space station built from the wreckage of the old council fleet. Representatives from over 200 species gathered to write a new constitution for the galaxy. Jung Hoseok stood before the assembled delegates, but he did not sit on a throne or claim a position of authority. Instead, he took his place among the other representatives as an equal among equals. Fellow beings, he began, we gather not as conquerors and conquered, but as free citizens of a free galaxy. We have learned that true strength comes not from forcing others to obey us, but from inspiring them to work with us. The new constitution was simple but revolutionary. Every species had the right to govern itself. Every being had the right to choose their own path. No species could rule another without consent. Disputes would be resolved through negotiation and compromise, not force. Even some of the former council species asked to join. War Chief Gormantis, now calling himself simply Gore, requested permission to dedicate his life to helping rebuild the worlds he had once destroyed. I cannot undo the harm I have caused, he said humbly, but perhaps I can help create something better. Vexithari refused to join the new order. He fled to a distant system with a handful of loyalists, still believing that might made right. But he was ignored by the galaxy that had moved beyond his old ways of thinking. The transformation was not complete overnight. There were conflicts and disagreements. Some species struggled to adapt to democracy. Others had to learn that freedom came with responsibility. But gradually the galaxy began to flourish as it never had under council rule. Trade routes opened between species that had never interacted. Scientific discoveries accelerated as different minds worked together. Art and culture blossomed as beings shared their unique perspectives. Captain Jung Hoseok often stood on the observation deck of his ship, looking out at the stars. Each point of light represented a world where beings were now free to choose their own destiny. It had cost humanity their home planet, but they had given the galaxy something priceless in return. "Do you think it was worth it?" asked Kim Ye-jin, joining him at the observation window. "Every human who died on Earth believed that freedom was worth any sacrifice," he replied. "Look at what their sacrifice achieved. Billions of beings now live free lives because a few thousand humans refuse to surrender. And if someone threatens that freedom again," Jung Ho-seok smiled, "then the galaxy will remember what humans taught them, that freedom is not given by rulers, it is claimed by the ruled. That ordinary beings can do extraordinary things when they fight for what is right. That no tyrant, no matter how powerful, can defeat the spirit of free beings working together." The galaxy had learned the most important lesson in human history: that freedom, once tasted, could never be forgotten, and that those who would be free must be willing to defend that freedom against all who would take it away. In the end, humanity's greatest victory was not military conquest, but the gift of hope. They had shown the galaxy that another way was possible, and that gift would endure as long as intelligent beings looked up at the stars and dreamed of freedom.